For not
Oh,
liking
that's what I'm
spicy,
starting-
you're
I'm
doing
gonna,
great.
I'm gonna start drooling on myself with that one. Make my mouth sweat.
Did you even take a bite?
Yeah, I did.
You're doing so good. I'm doing so bad.
I wanted to kill you off. That one was definitely a bomb.
Apple to you.
Keep it on fire for the last one.
It's Hot Takes with Realtors, and I'm Cassie Galler, your host and interviewer. Today I am with Jay Moore with House Call Home Inspections, and he is an inspector, a husband of a realtor, a father, and an Army vet.
Thanks
Hey,
for inviting me.
All right, are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm stuck here now, so it's
You
gonna happen.
committed? All right, so we're just gonna start here and work our way over. You can take one bite, eat the whole wing. It's up to you. It's gonna be pretty easy at the beginning, so
Yeah.
it's really on you.
The point at the end where it's like, nope.
Yeah, for then you're like, I'm not sure. All right, so an old school method of marking deficiency at the home used to be by placing, red tags or tape next to the problem item. Is that something that you do or even just see anymore?
I know when I first licensed in Louisiana and I was there before I moved back to Fayetteville area, the guy I was working with who owns the house called franchise out that way around Fort Polk, Louisiana. It's like he would do it, and not really red tape. It was more or less those little colored stickers like you use it for yard sales or price tags, flea market type stuff. We'd mark outlets or whatever, but not a lot of other things. Usually just outlets to help kind of direct which outlet in a room was bad.
And was there a purpose of like why they did that for only specific items and why that kind of stopped? Because I feel like you don't see that as much anymore.
I stopped doing it just because I was just trying to, speed up a little bit, because I'm testing systems, so I'm not really, I know I'm going to find deficiencies somewhere in the house as I'm going. Every house has deficiencies. I'm just more or less trying, just to speed up the process. I just kind of stopped because I'd always forget them, and I'd be in like the back bedroom and I have to go all the way to my bag and get my stickers, and I could never find the right size ones either. So it's like the little ones. So I just kind of decided I wasn't going to do it anymore. Just kind of, putting what room they're in usually is enough to let them come in, because the electrician is still going to come in. He's going to test them, or a handyman's going to test the outlets and see what he gets.
So buyers shouldn't expect to go and clean up
No.
after inspectors anymore.
No.
For
Same thing
seeing
with
the top
the
items.
seller. I mean, the seller doesn't want to have to look at all this stuff. I mean, I've been in a couple new constructions when I think somebody who works for the builder came in and she started blue taping the walls, and it looked like every wall in the house looked like it cut itself shaving. There were blue sticks everywhere. Like even this like a little Harry Potter thing underneath the stairwell opening, like kind of like a dog, like you put a dog bed in there or whatever. Like there was an arrow pointing up, and I stuck my head up in there. And she even got up underneath there and marked it. So she did a real good job. But it's like it was everywhere. I think the builder's going to be there for hours
Just
trying to fix
taking
that
all of
stuff.
that.
But
All right, ready to go into number 2?
yep.
I found that you had originally been a home inspector in Louisiana, as you mentioned. So what is the biggest difference in home inspecting between Louisiana and North Carolina?
There's definitely some stuff because of legal issues that have happened between home inspections and whatnot. Like I know, I might even quote it wrong, but it might, like home inspectors in Louisiana are required to comment on the presence of mold or organic growth, and it's because of being lawsuit or whatever happened. And it's just the way it works. Their board's a little more stingy about stuff too. I mean, but they're paid every month. You pay a fee based on how many inspections you did for the month.
Oh, really?
You pay. I can't remember what it was. I mean, like $5. $5 per inspection goes to the state, but you get a nicer license card or whatever. But can't really. It might just be the licensing requirements, because licensing requirements were a little bit I want to say easier there. They're just different. Like I had to take the national exam to get my license there, and here it was a state exam.
So there aren't like any things that you would look for, or the need in the inspection itself didn't really differ.
The standards of practice were all the same. I mean, they're basically the same, other than maybe having to say, hey, I see organic growth.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, oh, I don't really have to do that here. You know, I get asked that too. Was it mold? It was like, it's organic growth. I don't taste it. You know, it's like I'm not testing it. But it's just, you know, there are definitely things that were different. But I've been here since, you know, I've been licensed here since 2019. It was 2018 when I worked in Louisiana, so I kind of forget exactly what, you know, I let that license expire, and I don't really remember what. Did I just try to, you know, stick to the North Carolina standard of practice?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about your repair estimator?
Well, I can tell you that estimates have gotten higher as I've done more of them. There's got to be a little bit more. Like before, I could be, you know, a fog window, like the double pane window, you know, was foggy, so the seal was busted, right? I could take, you know, one or more of the windows was like that, and then a window guy, you know, Window World come in, have to inspect, look at all the windows, write up an estimate for it. And now I kind of try to be, 2 windows or whatever window, so that way the estimator can be like, okay, the cost of 2 normal windows would cost this, right? But it works pretty good. I know it's 24 hours after I've published the report, even on a Saturday. Like if we do an inspection on Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. I publish it, they get it, and by 5 p.m. on Saturday, the realtor gets it.
Yeah,
So
quick.
it works pretty quick, and it seems pretty accurate. Everyone else in the company, the franchise owners who have used it, it's all come back with pretty close, you know.
And that's based off of the items from the inspection.
Items from that home inspection in particular, not just a random thing. And the pricing for each item, like they'll resource, you know, they'll look, you know, Home Depot and Lowe's prices for whatever materials, to price the materials to the local area, and then they, you know, worked on it. And it works better depending on how long they've been operating in the state. You know, if I was if you're the first one to use it, to offer it in the state, then obviously your prices are going to be a little bit off for a while until they kind of like, you know, start finding everything. But
And how long has it been getting used in this local area?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it has been used. Like my wife's a realtor, and she's had home inspectors use it, and I just recently started using it. It seems to be pretty good. Like, I mean, it seems helpful, honestly, and being able to share it with your buyer, you know, allows them to know, like, you know, exactly what's going on. At least, and now it's gotten to the point now where it's in my report and in it, they've got the same numbers. So 1.1.1, right? For that deficiency in my report is actually numbered inside the repair pricer. So now when your buyer's like, I don't care about that, like, that doesn't bother me none. He's like, look at it. You can just, you as the realtor can go in and edit it and take those things off.
So you don't have to get everything.
Yeah, you don't have to get everything, because it's going to take everything regardless. I mean, some things are, and like I think I've told realtors this before. Like, say a new roof, right? Say they price a new roof at 10 grand, but you already know it's in the deal that they're going to pay the roofer at closing, and that roof's going on next week. Then you can take that off, and 10 grand come off of the price, or nobody freaks out. And I like the fact that it goes to the realtor first and not to the client, because I mean, I bought a house before, and it took a couple times, and I know if I got a repair pricer for a house I just had inspected and it said, $20,000, I would probably freak.
That sticker shock.
Yeah. So letting you guys get it first, look at it, and be able to, package it into, the expectation management.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, it's not that bad. Like, we know most of the stuff we've asked for. Now we have a price, and it really just saves time too. Because if I do an inspection on Monday, Tuesday, you have the repair pricer. You're not starting to try to schedule to get a plumber in there and an electrician and all those other, contractors in there to get their estimates. Especially in some markets that don't have them. We have a franchise in Bozeman, Montana now, and they don't have a lot of contractors that, for whatever reason, how I understood it. So having that repair pricer is going to be really good for them, because now they don't, not a lot of repairs are being done in the wintertime, I guess. There's some snow, but yeah. So think it should speed up the process and allow for the seller not to be stressed out with all those people coming in either. So
Yeah, sounds good. You ready?
yeah,
It's going okay so far?
yep, not too bad.
Generally, what dictates if a property defect is minor or major? Like, at what point are you like, this is a bigger
It kind of
issue?
comes into, like for my report, the blue items are the minor ones, but like let's just get them repaired. You know, no special instructions or not. You know, not, like there are implications like, hey, you know, we don't get the siding fixed or whatever, or paint and like paint. Like, let's say painting wood trim, right? If you don't get it painted, it's going to rot, or it's going to get water intrusion and rot or whatever. So, you know, not the end of the world. Any handyman can do it kind of too. It doesn't need to be evaluated. Then the orange being, let's get it evaluated by the expert, because yeah, it definitely needs to get fixed, but it may actually need to not only just you know, cosmetically get, or not really cosmetic, just paint on it or whatever to fix it, to stop, correct the malfunction or whatever the deficiency. Say painted, right? But it's gonna have to get ripped apart, and wood, you know, material's gonna have to get replaced. It may be that point. I'm not really gonna make the judge on that. So let the expert come in, you know. And that's a lot of times, you know, your HVAC techs, your plumbers and stuff like that, something's not right, or you know, they use the wrong material, or it's just not put together properly. But then the safety items, which are, hey, these are gonna definitely be major issues and they're gonna cause more damage to the property or injury to the occupants. Let's work on those things. And we definitely want the expert to do that, you know, the plumbers, the electricians.
Yeah.
And those are usually saved for most of your water issues and your plumbing issues and things, you know, those kind of things, because they're definitely going to be the ones that are going to cause injury. But most of your orange items are like, you know, siding being ripped off, those kind of things.
So you're talking colors. Can you
Yeah.
walk me through?
My
that?
inspection report, you know, breaks down the deficiencies in colors. So you got blue items, which you basically just get them repaired. You know, no evaluation needed. The guy's gonna show up and they're like, hey, let's fix it. And then the orange stuff is like, hey, let's get it evaluated and or fixed, right?
Okay.
So let's, you know, because it's probably gonna have to get fixed anyways. I know that, but let's just get it looked at, because it may be bad enough to where, you know, something's gonna have to get more, like just basically rebuilt or something, you know, whatever item. And then the safety, the red items, and those should be non-negotiable for you realtors. But like, we're gonna ask for all these red things.
Yeah.
But they're not seriously bad, you know, too bad. But they're more or less, you know, we got, you know, they definitely need to be fixed. You know, like an electrical panel got, you know, problems, or there's plumbing leak. You know, any leak is gonna cause it, even if it's just, you know, heck, a faucet outside dripping. I'm gonna keep that as safety, you know, a red item, just because it's kind of a big deal. It will turn into a big deal later on, for sure. But plumbing, electrical, roof, framing, foundation issues, those are all probably always going to be red items. I don't think I mean, unless we know it's like cosmetic, like, you know, maybe, or I can't, or it'll be an orange item at the minimum, because I can't tell if it's really something more or less cosmetic, like, you know, just crack that, you know, stucco they put on foundation walls. It could just be a crack. I can't see it on the inside of the crawl space, but I can see it on the outside. So let's get the, you know, foundation guy out here to look at it and be like, okay, it's not a big, you know, he'll tell you it's not a big deal. Basically save me from telling you it's not a big deal, and then, you know, it becoming a big deal.
Or if you say it's not a big deal, and they come in and go,
I'm trying to stay away from that. I'd rather say, hey, I'd rather the experts call me a dummy to the client or the realtor than, you know, than miss something and get called back about it and have it become a problem. Because by the time that happened, we're past closing, they own the house, they're in the house, and you know, it's just not it's not a fun time for anybody. So let's just minimize those.
Makes sense. You ready?
Yeah.
It's a good flavor one, huh?
Yeah, I want to have the flavor.
So, until recently, I hadn't heard of Federal Pacific electric panels. So, what should homeowners and home buyers know about them?
They've been recalled for many years. Because of repair price, I know they cost around $3,500 to replace. They're really easy. They even have they always say Federal Pacific on them, and they even have this stab lock on, brand name or whatever on them. So they're the easiest things to identify when you
So, what makes them an issue? Why is it something that
there were fires and there were lawsuits when they first came out, or sometime right after they came out. I can't remember the years, honestly. There's a lot of numbers floating around in the head, but I want to say sometime in the 70s, and they were put in, and then there were some fires, and there were lawsuits, and they basically outlawed them or whatever. Now the problem with anything that's been outlawed, like polybutylene piping, plumbing, we don't use it no more. It's not allowed to be used in it, but they're still in homes. So basically, until somebody's gone in there, completely gutted the place and brought it up to code. Its code is nothing but more or less, layman's terms, it's how we should have built houses 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because until something new comes out, they put it in a house, everyone's not happy about it, and then it works good, and then it doesn't. When we find out, it's not working as good. So now we don't want to use it no more. So
if houses are burning down.
What's that?
I said if houses are burning down. Then
Yes. So there's so many things that they don't use anymore that we used to use. So.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, and it's what code the municipality is following, so it should be. But yeah, definitely, they're an easy deficiency to find. Realtors can find them too if they're just looking around. And it's really if you get to the panel, because some houses you just can't, there's stuff in the way or whatever.
Yeah.
But built in the 60s, 70s, those are you're gonna know you got old stuff in the house. So seeing the panel open it up and you can see it, and you just know that hey, it's gonna be an issue. Same thing with a garage door that's got glass. That's there's a fire. The door's not fire rated, so we want a fire rated door between the garage and the house. Okay. So we already kind of know that. So when you're walking through the house, showing it or whatever, having you put an offer, and it's like, hey, this door is probably gonna.
Are you talking garage door, like
door.
the lifted garage door, or
the garage door, the garage door between the garage and the house.
Oh, okay.
Just like
My old house was built in the 70s,
and
we had a glass door between them. And I don't know about the panel though.
Yeah,
because like I said, I hadn't heard.
It's really easy. You see it, you know it. My son bought a house here in Fayetteville. It had it. They asked, we're not fixing it. He sold the house. Glass door was still there. Yeah, we're not fixing it.
It even had the push.
I think that buyer sold the house, and I think that buyer sold the house, and it was probably like, if it got asked for, it's like, no, I'm not fixing it. It's just gonna stay there forever. So it's just not fire rated glass, not fire rated.
It's one of those things that would work for grandma and grandpa.
There's always, if and really, as a realtor, if you've done enough and had enough home inspections, you've seen enough stuff. The easy ones you can spot. They're going to be. Hey, we're probably going to want to ask for that.
I don't think it ever came up.
Yeah, it's probably
nobody as an item.
Some people probably just like it's they think it's mine. I keep it red because it is a fire hazard. We want that that fire barrier between the garage. Cars do catch on fire on their own. But then some people will be like, I'm buying the house and I'm not gonna, I don't park a car in the garage.
Yeah, we never did.
You don't park a car in the garage. It's maybe not an issue to you. You're just going. But really, a lot of things we put in our home inspection report is because one, she needs to be in there, but it's also to cover our own butts, because in 5 to 7 years when the buyer, our client goes and sells the house and it comes up, it's like. It better have been on, and it's been there the whole time they've lived there. It better hopefully been on the home inspection when they bought it, So, just kind of keeping it focused or whatever. It's like, hey, it's red, yes, but it's not the end of the world. No, I don't believe in any deficiency being a deal killer. It really comes down to can you negotiate the deal to get the repairs done. Yeah. And sellers know what they've got. I know what most of the deficiencies in my house are, and I got to because it's one of the worst houses to inspect. So it is what it is.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Which one? This one right here.
So, would you encourage someone who is having a home inspection done to follow along for it?
You mean come to the beginning and say, I tell them they can. It's their money. They're paying me. Basically, they're employed for 3 hours or so. But it kind of encourages. If I encourage them to show up at more or less the 2.5 hour mark, That way we can, you know, I can basically it'll be there at the end, and then I can go over it with them.
Okay.
And usually trying to go over the, you know, just the summary with them, the orange and the red items from my report. I don't want to have a little burn at the end there.
Yeah, one's kicking today. All right, ready?
Yeah.
So how long does an inspection generally take? And what's the largest factor in dictating how long it takes? So it's a catch up.
Well, that one before is still there. All right, so how long a home inspection takes? Take 2.5 to 3 hours. No crawl space usually speeds it up. If you know there's something like I can't get on the roof because the house is too tall or whatever, you know that saves 10-15 minutes there. You know, not to mention ladder pulling out time. But usually I plan on a 3-hour inspection just because it'll make life, you know, easier for me because I don't want to be rushing at the end. I don't want to be at the 3-hour mark and, you know, still have all plumbing to do still, you know, along with the kitchen, you know. So usually works out better that way. Just plan for 3 hours, works easy, and then obviously then you get in 2,500 square feet and bigger, it might, you know, just kind of mentally add 30 minutes to it. But yeah, every house has the same stuff, so it's just basically getting around to it all. Going to 8.
We're going into.
Is that far along now?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, this is the bomb.
At least it was a tiny wing.
That was on purpose. So I found a little gem on your Facebook.
Yep.
So, well, I assume you haven't run into Mike Myers during a home inspection. Can you give us your worst home inspection horror story?
I'm trying. I don't know. I went out to a house, and I ended up not doing the inspection because the house was in like so bad a shape. When the client showed up, I was like, "Dude, you don't need me. You need a contractor." The utilities weren't on. I mean, the power, you know, electricity, the blinds were cut. I opened up the crawl space, and there was a toad sitting there, and the toad was like, "Don't move," because the snake, like 6 inches away from him, was facing him. He's like, "I'm gonna hold still." He slithered away, and but I haven't read really any horror stories. I mean, I've been in some houses that were rough, you know, in rough shape, and they were rentals, and like, you know, the oven door is gone, you know, leaks underneath everything, but nothing. I mean, not some of like the pictures you can find on Facebook on some other home inspectors pages, you know. Which I'm bad at taking those pictures and reminding them, you know, I give them to my Facebook manager to put up, but I've been fortunate that I haven't found anything other than worse than that snake that I didn't go in that crawl space, and like a couple dead cats.
Did you even take a bite?
Yeah, I did.
You're doing so good. I'm doing so bad.
That one was definitely a bomb.
Okay. Sorry, I've never had to recover so badly. Going to 9?
Yeah. Oh, it's hot. Oh.
What is the difference between what's being looked at during an appraisal inspection and being looked at during a home inspection?
I don't know what appraisers look at, honestly. I mean, I have had appraisers show up on the home inspections and they're usually there 30 minutes and then they're gone. I mean, some of the items are the same. You know, maybe obviously chip paint, those kind of things. Like VA are gonna, you know, VA appraisers are gonna give that stuff and want it fixed. But I'm looking at everything. Like I'm walking the roof, I'm getting up in the attic. I don't think I've ever seen an appraiser go up in the attic or walk the roof or go in the crawl space. Oh, that one's a good one.
For not liking spicy, you're doing great.
I'm gonna start drooling on myself with that one. Make my mouth sweat. Oh. That's the last one.
So for the last one, tradition per its name, put a little extra last dab on it. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, put a little bit. There we go. A little dab.
That will do you.
Keep it on fire for the last one though.
So you were in the Army for 23 years and your wife is a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you become a home inspector?
My last job, I was a observer controller at Fort Polk, Louisiana. The second time I moved down there, and I was up at the Brigade Mission Command Team, which is basically all the majors and above. I mean, there were some captains, but they're mostly majors and above. And you know, I was first sergeant at the time, so first sergeant, first classes in NCO, you know. But it was all the brigade staff type guys who, you know, aren't running around kicking in doors, not those kind of people. And so I had to do, and because I was a first sergeant, they were like, hey, you handle all our admin stuff. So I had to handle all the admin stuff in between rotations. So they would come and bring me, like, they could do leave forms and all these other things, and just kind of like had to coddle majors, really is what it was, coddle the majors. And I was like, and I decided, it's like, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself. And so I was like, I'm going to be a home inspector. And it was actually the guy from Fort Polk's franchise, Pee Wee Morrow. He'd been in the Army, and he had worked as a contractor on Fort Polk the first time I was there, and I had met him there when I was at Live Fire Division. And because my wife was the AE at the Alexandria's Realtor Association, so she knew him, and he had asked her what I was planning on doing. And then my other buddy Devin, who was in ops group with me at JRTC, he was in my unit. Pee Wee's wife was his realtor when he bought his house in DeRidder. So he bought the North Alabama franchise and kind of talked me into doing it. And so, because I was kind of already like sold on the idea, like working for myself, whatever. I'm not gonna stick around here and be part of, you know, be associated with, you know, ops group or the Army anymore. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, retire and cut ties from it for the most part, right? So I went out and did a home inspection with Pee Wee one day, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is pretty easy. Like monkeys can do it. So and I just worked on getting my license, and I mean, you know, Darren, one of the owners at corporate, he's like, yeah, no one's gotten their license as fast as that. He's like, dude, I didn't do anything. Like, I just got my, you know.
Oh, yeah, be careful with your eyes.
I just did my, you know, I just did the classes online and then moved on. You know, at least North Carolina. I think North Carolina might have make really good home inspectors just because there's classes available in person, which will make life a little bit easier, I think. At least you can, you know, talk more about it, whatever. I mean, online you're just reading slides, but yeah, I really just wanted to be my own boss, set my own schedule. I mean, I took last week off to go up to Michigan for my dad's birthday. I'm gonna take the week off in August for my mom's birthday. I'm gonna take a week off and, you know, hopefully around May 4th when my first grandbaby's born, you know. So I can just take off. I took off for my wife's birthday, who our middle boy shares the same birthday. They were on a bus that they turned into an RV. They were out in Arizona in Flagstaff area, and we went out there for a week there and lived on the bus, did the bus life. So it was pretty. So having that flexibility and being able to do that stuff was really really the only thing that appealed to me about being a home inspector. It's like I can just do. It's not super difficult once you kind of get into it. I could probably do this job till I'm 100 and retire, and I would probably still not know everything in a house. There's so much stuff, but I can manage my own schedule and stuff, and it's really the same thing people going to being a realtor for. You can set your own schedule, but now obviously you set your own schedule. You don't make quite as much money.
Yeah.
But I'm not stressed out about dumb things or whatever. I can just go in the house and usually I'm there for 3 hours by myself, which is kind of nice too. It's quiet. It's peace and quiet. Sometimes there's animals, dog and cats follow me around, and usually leave me alone for the most part. I haven't had any too crazy, but I like it. It's really peaceful sometimes, But it's crappy when the attics are really hot though, which we're getting close to that. We're getting close to that time, and the dirt and all that other stuff in the crawl spaces, but it's good.
So, do you have a good time?
Yeah.
You feel okay?
Yeah, I feel good.
Is this something that you would do again?
I don't know. Maybe stay with these three right here.
You handled the bomb amazingly. I really didn't think that you even took a bite.
I took it.
You did that well.
I took it right.
Because I was telling you, you're just super calm.
I might have been a private. I might have still been a private. Me and one of my buddies in the barracks, we had gone to somewhere, and there was 20 hot wings or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we were both 21, so it was we had a contest of who could eat the most before we had to take a drink.
Yeah.
So even though I don't really like hot things, I won't pick hot things.
Yeah.
But, I could hang. They weren't super hot. They were probably
now you can handle it.
They were probably in this phase right here.
Okay. Well, this has been Hot Takes with Realtors with Jay Moore from House Call Home Inspections. Is there anywhere particular you'd like people to go to check you out?
Housecallnc.com, and you can.
And I will put that down in the description.
You can see it, see pricing. You can schedule online, your home inspection, and shouldn't be too hard, really.
Any social media handle to share?
Just House Call or House Call of Greater Fayetteville, and that's just on Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. Make sure to like the video, comment if you can, and definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.